Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to create my lucky bracelet. This is a reversible design. This is a 5-bar wide design. I did figure out how to create it using 3 bars wide. I'm going to link that in the description below, and I might even have a link up here. So if you want to make that version, you can go ahead and go over to that video. So for today's video, the breakdown will be for a full-length bracelet. Even though I'm only going to show you a little piece, I will tell you how far down the loom, how many bands, and everything for a full-length one. If you don't have enough bars to do this version, go ahead and check out the 3-bar version. So you'll need 234 bands for today's video. The breakdown is 66 of the white, and that includes this middle white, 56 of the teal, 44 of the yellow, 46 of this purple that sits right here, although I'm going to be using a clear blue there. And then you'll also need 22 of the side purple. I'm going to be doing this exact color combo except for the color I mentioned on the back there. You will also need 1 C-clip and your hook, and I'm going to show you guys the loom setup. To make today's version, you will need to have at least 5 bars wide. If you're going to do a full length version, connect another 5 right in front of this loom setup. I'm only going to show you a small piece today, but I will tell you how far down the loom for a full length one. So do make sure that you have the bar pins set up like mine do, going downwards like so. And then we're going to go ahead and decide our first color, which is going to be the white that sits on the side here. We're going to start by laying 1 in the center for closing it later. And then we're going to go 2 to the left. And 2 to the right. I'm going to start on the right side of my loom, and I'm going to lay 1 going straight. And now you're going to choose your next color, which is going to be the teal that sits right here. And we're going to lay this going diagonally downwards to the pin next to it, like that. And then we will lay 2 more straight ones of our border color. And now we'll go back to our diagonal teal. We will lay 2 more of the white border. And then our diagonal teal. For a 1 loom setup, we're going to lay a total of 10 straight ones. So starting from this corner, make sure you have 10 straight ones. If you are doing the full length version with 2 loom setups, you're going to lay 22. So keep laying 2, and then your diagonal. I'll show you what it looks like when I get down here. Okay, so when you get down to the end of your loom, regardless if you're just using 1 set of 5 or 2 sets of 5, our loom should look exactly the same. So at the end, after I laid my last diagonal one, there should be just 1 white one laid after that. So all we're going to do is come to the left side, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, starting with 1 white border, our diagonal teal, and then we'll start alternating laying 2 straight, and our diagonal teal. So go ahead and get your left side laid, and I'll meet you guys back here. So it will look like this once you reach the end. Make sure you stopped at the same point that you stopped on the right side. We're going to come back to the beginning. We're going to start laying some bands in the center. We're still working with the same colors. It's going to be the teal and the white, and the teal here and the white. So we're laying all of those bands right there. So the first color we will start with is the border color, which is white. And now we're going to make like an arrow using our teal. So we'll be laying a total of 3 bands. The first one will go straight, and then we'll go diagonal to the left and diagonal to the right. See how it makes that arrow? We'll go back to our first color and lay the white. And now we'll grab our teal and lay the arrow, always laying the first one going straight, and then our 2 diagonals on the sides, like so. We'll keep alternating that. if you're making a full-length bracelet, you're going to have a total of 11 of these arrows. So 11 teal arrows, and then we'll have one more straight one at the end. But if you're doing the one set like me, you're going to have 5 of those teal arrows and then one straight one at the end. And I'll show you what I mean by the one straight one, because we don't make an arrow on the last one, but I don't want to confuse anyone, so I'll just show you when I get down there. For the one loom set, you're literally you're going to go to the end of the loom. But for 2 loom setups, it doesn't quite go all the way to the end. So I just want to make sure you guys know where to stop. So this is what I mean on how it will look at the end. You technically could start another arrow there, but we are not going to. So it just ends with the one straight teal. And so while we are down here, and by the way, regardless of how many looms you use, it's going to end exactly the same like that. But we're going to go ahead and grab our border color real quick while we're down here. And starting on the left side, we're going to lay 2 going diagonally into the center. And do the same on the right side. Like so. Go ahead and push those middle bands down some. And then we're going to come back to the beginning. We're now going to choose the yellow color. And we're going to be laying a bunch of X's. But they are laid a little oddly. So, we need to lay these in a very specific order. So make sure you do lay them exactly as I do. We're going to start on the corner pin on the left side of the loom. And we need to connect it to the 4th pin in the center. So right here. These 2 pins can kind of get in the way a little bit because you got to go through the center, but it's not a equal diagonal stretch, if you know what I mean. So connect it to the left corner. Go in between those 2 pins right here. And connect it to the 4th pin up, counting from the middle. So it's a very long stretch up there. Then we're going to come on the right side and do the same thing. Connect it to the corner and do a long stretch. Like so. A lot of times when I'm doing it, it may get like caught like that. Just continue doing it, lay it, and then you can come back and pull it over so that it's sitting in between those 2 pins. I like to push that down a little. And now we need to lay in the opposite direction. So we're going to come to the 2nd pin up in the middle. And we're going to lay it going diagonal to the left, connecting it to the 3rd pin up. Come to that same pin you started the other one on, and we'll cross it for the right side. Like so. To start laying the X again, we always start where the last one ended on the left side. And there's always one empty pin in between each X. You can see we have yellow, empty, yellow. This will be empty, and the yellow will connect here again. So I'm going to start where my last one ended on the left. Try not to get my hand in your way. And I'm going to do that very long stretch up to here. It should be 2 pins above where our last one ended in the middle. So just double check that before you move on. So you can see my yellow ended here, empty, yellow. We'll do the same on the right side. This one's easier because you can see where we need to connect it to. And now we need to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to come where the last one ended back here and cross it to the left. Do the same for the right. Make sure nothing is stuck. Push it down, and this is what it looks like. And we're going to keep doing that. Just take your time, making sure you're laying them correctly in the order that I'm telling you. So we'll start on the left. Long stretch up. Meet the right one up with it. And then we'll come back to this one to cross it. So we're going to keep doing this until we reach the end of the loom. For one set of 5, you're going to have a total of 10 X's. So this is 1 X, this is 2 X's. You'll have 10 total. If you're using 2 sets of 5 bars wide, you're going to have a total of 22 X's. I will show you what it looks like at the end because they will look the same on either loom setup. So this is what it looks like at the end of the loom. You can see on the side here that the X meets up to where the borders end on the side, and in the middle, it's 1 short of the end of our bracelet. So both of our looms should look like that regardless of the loom size you're using. So go through and push these down a good bit. It just helps when we go to loop. And now we're going to choose our next color, which is going to be this light purple that sits back here. You don't really see it a whole lot from the front. I guess it does poke through a tiny bit. But I'm going to use a clear blue instead. And we're going to be laying a single chain on the second bar pin in on both sides. I'm just going to start with the right side. And we're just going to lay it going straight all the way up until you reach the end of your bracelet. Like so. And go ahead and do the exact same thing for the second bar pin in on the left side. It would look like that after both sides are laid. I did push them down a little bit. And we have one more set of bands to lay, which are going to be the rings that sit on the side. I personally like the round bands because of the effect that it gives, but I know a lot of you cannot get them, so it works just as fine with regular bands. So I'm going to use this royal purple. We're going to come here to the side and we're going to lay a triangle wrapping around all 3 of these pins. So I usually connect it here first and then wrap it around like that. And then we're going to come up to the next open pin. And it's going to wrap around these 3 pins just like it did down here. So we're going to come right up to the next one looking at the side bar pin, and we will lay it on those 3 again. And we will keep doing this until we reach the end of our loom. Your last one will end 1 pin short from the very end of your bracelet on the side. We're going to do the exact same thing on the left side, starting on the first one right here, like so. So go ahead and get your left side laid, and once you have done that, it will look like this. So that is all the bands that we have to lay. We just need to grab one more border band, and that's for our cat band. So we're going to turn this loom around. And we're going to place a regular cap band on the center pin wrapped around 2 times. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the cap band and we're going to loop the first set of white bands out. So the first one will go to the left and the second one will go to the right. Like so. And now we're going to simply loop up that light blue single chain. You're going to ignore that triangle band altogether. I'm going to do the right side first. You're just grabbing that single clear blue and you're just looping it straight. Again, when you reach the pin that has the triangle, just act like it's not there. Push it out of the way and grab that clear blue and loop it straight. If you push your pin or your hook down too much, you're going to grab bands that are underneath. So try not to go too deep into the pin, specifically on these pins that have all those bands under it. So I just move the purple and I grab it gently like so. And you're just going to loop these all the way up. Like so. You're going to do the exact same thing to the blue single chain that's on the left side. It would look like this after both sides are done. We're going to come back to the beginning and we're going to loop the entire design in steps. So we're going to come down to the middle here and we're going to loop the first teal forward. We're going to go into that pin, and we're going to push the yellows out of the way so that you're grabbing the very bottom band, which is white, and loop that forward. We're going to come back down here to the border. We're going to loop the border white to itself. And then we're going to go into this corner pin, grab the very bottom white, and loop that forward. We're going to do the same on the left side. Make sure you're grabbing the bottom white and looping it up, like so. We're going to come back to the middle, and we're going to be looping out the teal bands. So if you laid it in the order that I did, the first teal that's in here is going to go to the left. Then you're going to go into that pin and grab the teal and bring it to the left diagonally down. But when you go in here, there's a lot going on. I tried to hug the right corner of the pin when I push back, and it gets everything moved nicely so that I can grab the correct teal band. It's the very bottom band on that pin, and loop it down, which is back to itself. Come back to the middle, and we'll loop the right side out of the teal. On this one, I try to push my hook to the inner left and then grab it. Because if you just push down, the band stays in the way, specifically the bottom of this teal. So come and push it to the left a little bit, and then it moves everything nicely so you can grab it. From there, we are going to go to the right side here on the border. We're going to loop this bottom band up once. Go into that pin and loop the bottom band up again the same way. Do the same on the left side. We're grabbing the very bottom border band and looping it up. And then you got to do that again. Then we'll come to the middle. Come to the last spot that you've looped and start again. It should be a teal. And then we'll go in here and grab the very bottom, which will now be a white. Loop that up. So we're always looping 2 straight on each pin or each side. So the side has 2, the middle has 2, and the left side has 2. Now from the middle, we're going to loop out our teal again. So we're going to go in the middle, grab the top teal, bring that diagonally to the left. Go in this pin, grab the bottom teal, and bring that to the left. Do the same for the right side of it. Sorry, it's kind of blurring out a little bit. It'll look like that. And we're ready to start doing that all over again. So we always start by going into the sides. We will loop the bottom band up 2 times. We would do that on the left as well. Grabbing the very bottom band, which is white, loop it up. And loop it up again because it needs to be done twice. Come to the middle, and you're going to loop those straight bands up 2 times. One is teal and one is white. Just make sure you're getting in front of all 4 of those yellows because it's kind of tight in there. And now we're ready to loop our teal out. So I did my left half, and now I'm going to do the right half. So go ahead and keep following along with me. We're just going to do this. We're going to keep alternating these steps up the loom. I completely forgot to tell you guys that we do not do any looping to the yellow bands. I completely forgot to mention that. Obviously, I'm sure you can see that we don't, but I would have liked to have mentioned that sooner, so I'm sure I will put a note in there somewhere so you guys know that we do not do any looping to them. That was my printer. And by the way, these white bands of mine, I've had 4 of them already break on me while looping this out. I've never had so many bands break during a bracelet. 1 usually, maybe 2 most, but that's so rare. So now I'm not going to ever want to use these white ones when filming. When you do get to the top, there will only be 1 side border to loop straight, opposed to the other times we would be looping 2 straight ones. There's only 1 straight one left on the side. In the middle, there will be 2 still that need to go straight. Don't forget to loop those 2. After you loop those 2 straight, the only thing left to do is to close the top off. So you're just going to go into the corner and diagonally loop these to the center. Do that on both sides. And then we are going to grab that loose band from the beginning, reach down inside, grab the other end, bring both ends together, and we will attach our C-clip. Now for this design, trying to pull it off of the loom can be a little bit problematic because the yellow bands do get stuck. So you might want to go through and remove it with your hook. That is completely up to you. Just be warned, if you do try to yank it off, it's going to be a little challenging. Okay, you guys, so I just want to show you, as I was taking it off of the loom, my white band in the middle snapped. And I was so careful removing it with my hook, so I'm not happy about that. So anyway, unfortunately you can't see how nice it would have looked without that break in the middle, but hopefully you can kind of imagine it. So I'm just going to grab the piece that's not broke and show you. So when you do take it off of the loom, definitely give it a good stretch up and down, left and right to help things fall into place. The front of the bracelet, it comes off of the loom like this. Whichever side you plan on wearing it on, you may have to go through and fidget with these bands, like the teal bands. Sometimes they get a little twisted and you may need to roll them to get it looking a little nicer. The only other thing that I would recommend is for the side rings. I do try to pull them out and get them to lay as cohesive as possible. So yeah, that's it. That is how you create my lucky bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope this was a helpful video. But that will be it for today, you guys. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all really soon at my next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye!